Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dre and this is Rhythmic Healing Education. We are going to be going over these channeled messages that came through for your healing today. So the first thing that came through was say what you need to say. Now this was coming through, yeah, like the John Mayer song, but this was coming through in a way of, maybe now is a time to shut off distractions. So you may need to take a period of time to shut off your TV, the news, disconnect from your phone for a moment, take a walk, do some meditation, journal. It's about really listening, first of all, listening to what it is that you want to say. Sometimes like we get like emotional, but then we're not right exactly sure, like, what am I emotional about, what's going on here. It takes us like a moment to kind of process, and then once we've processed, then it's like then we can say what we need to say. And I talk about this a lot when I'm doing work, what I like to call the false heart and the true heart. With the false heart is the aspect of ourself that is going to be like, that didn't bother me, I don't care what they said, yada yada, right? But the true heart is like, I am bothered by this person's actions or the things that they're saying to me, and whether we get defensive, like, that's not who I am, and it's upsetting that that's how you perceive me, or it's something that's like, I need to set the record straight, but then we're like, why do I even need to defend myself, right? I am who I am. So it goes into this energetic where we don't want to be blocking out the message of our heart with a lot of the self-defense mechanisms that our neurological system creates to keep us safe. And some of that is transference, some of that is distracting ourselves, some of that is like blaming other people, some of that is getting so engulfed with work that we don't have time to deal with that. There's a lot of different techniques that we use, repression, etc. There's so many. So this is like really getting into alignment with say what you need to say, and say what you need to say from a heart space. So a lot of times people say, like, I talk to my person all the time, or I always say whatever I mean or whatever I want to say. But sometimes it's like the message is very different when we speak from our heart center, when we're saying a message that is really deep and it's from a space that is coming from our heart. And I always feel like when you're saying something from your heart, it's always heard. But when we're upset, when we're triggered, when we're reacting, when we are complaining, when we are being in a negative space, it's hardly ever met with anything other than that same vibration. But when we come from a heart space and we're saying what we need and what we want, and what's hurt us, and we have to become vulnerable and intimate, then we have an opportunity to be met with that same energy. Now, that doesn't mean that you are going to be met with that same energy, but it doesn't matter. Even if the other person that you need to say what you need to say doesn't meet that energy of that heart-centered thing, you're still getting it off your chest. We have that phrase, like, getting it off your chest. And so we want to be able to do that. Get things off of our chest, release the burden, say what we need to say. Sometimes that helps so we're not going round and round about something. We've said it, we're in alignment with what we've said. And this can also relate to other things outside of just relationship space. Relationship space meaning a conversation with our boss, a conversation with a family member, a conversation with a partner. This can also relate to clearing illusion within ourselves. Sometimes we say things to ourselves and it's not true. We beat ourselves up. We say, oh, I could never do that. Nobody cares what I think. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Everyone's going to think that's stupid. These are things that we also say to ourselves, that it's like, say what you need to say. You also need to be honest with yourself as well. So there may be things that you're saying to yourself that are of a false heart energy. The ego is trying to protect you, but at the same time, it's holding you back from maybe reaching your goals. And therefore, we need to say the truth. We need to speak truth into that illusion, into those lies, into the, self-defeating, self-blame, self-sabotaging energy, to release it, to defeat it, to conquer it, to overcome it. Okay? The next thing that was coming up was to prioritize self in such a way that you go after everything that you want. Okay? So this is like prioritizing yourself in such a way that you're going to go after what you want. And so what that means, even when we're talking about saying what you need to say, it's like, if you need to have that conversation with your boss about that promotion, or shifting positions, or ending your job. This isn't working for me. I need to earn more money. I need more flexibility. I need more time with my family. These are things that you may need to say so that you're able to go after what it is you want, whether that's an advancement in position, whether that's a whole new job, whether that's more time with your family, whatever it is, or just more time for you. This prioritizing self in such a way that you go after what you want is that, like, you're putting your sense of purpose, your sense of self. It could be your health. It could be your relationships that, if you constantly have people saying, like, you're telling the people that you care about, oh, I can't do it, or you don't answer your phone, or you're not responding to people, or people are getting upset that, you're not prioritizing them. When we talk about prioritizing self, and this is where I want to kind of emphasize this a little bit, is that the relationships that we have with the people in our lives should be relationships that yet we're still prioritizing ourselves. Okay. So if I love my partner and I enjoy spending time with him, in this case, in the collective case, him or her, then prioritizing them is prioritizing me, because my relationship is important to me. Having that time, having intimate connection, having conversations, discussing our goals, discussing our needs, our wants, our desires, our fears, are part of me prioritizing myself, right? Prioritizing yourself is also like when I've been working really hard and it's been imbalanced. The work, what I'm receiving, what I'm putting into it, it's not balanced here. This is prioritizing yourself, but it's also, looking at how can I create reciprocity, okay? So this is prioritizing yourself in such a way that you're going after what you want, whether that's the relationship, whether that's the job, the promotion, whether that's, the type of relationships that you want to have with your family. This could be a new project. This could be something that you want to pursue creatively. It could be, if like recently as an example, I've always been a fairly decent artist, like visual art. I never invested much time into it. I was always into the intuitive arts. I was always into, the healing arts. I was into martial arts, still am. So I always invested a lot of time and energy into music. I always invested my time and energy in these different areas because I was very passionate about it. And recently I started, picking up just drawing. And at times I would feel like you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to get this done and you need to get that done. And I was just like, I just want to focus on this thing for like just a little bit, like find something that I wanted to draw. Sometimes it would be just, a pen or my hand. I did a drawing with my hand. And there was something about, what's the word? I want to say recapturing my focus, where it was like I was focusing on the drawing and I was focusing on the shading and I was focusing on this thing that I wasn't necessarily good at, let's say, I'm not bad, but I don't feel like expert or master level, right? Like sometimes we get used to doing something so repetitiously or we've done it for such a long period of time that we feel like we could do it in our sleep, right? There's certain things that like I could just I do this, I don't even think about it, honestly. And this was something that I had to think about. I had to concentrate, I had to focus, I had to get into listening to myself, where I would say, "Oh man, that looks dumb. I need to start over." And then what would I do with that? Or no, talking to myself like, "No, this is actually looking really good. I can't believe this." And so this is kind of looking at the prioritizing of self in such a way is that you go after what it is that you want. So you may want to take dance lessons. You may want to take your partner on a dance date, and it's something that you prioritize together. This is a prioritizing of self because it's giving you the things that you need and that you want by shifting focus, by shifting gears, by looking at what actually is asking yourself and saying, what do I want? What is going to bring fulfillment? What is going to, and it's sometimes, let's say, like, what's going to challenge you in a different way? Because sometimes you're in a job, or you own your career, whatever, and you are challenged. But it's the same challenge every single day, right? It's the same challenge that you're constantly facing, which, sometimes creating new challenges, and, or taking time for yourself, going for that walk, taking that hot bath, tapping into maybe some new resources that, you haven't before, trying something new, becoming a student, let's say. So, that's basically the message that was coming through for the healing aspect of what's coming through in this message. Now, a lot of people say, like, how is this a healing message? How is this any different than other healing messages? Well, first of all, it's intention. Second of all, it's when you're ready to shift your perception and to allow new agreements to take space within your psyche, then healing takes place. It's a transformational process. So even when you go to school and you learn to do something, you're changing, you're shifting, you're growing, you're literally becoming a different person. Some relationships, people that we talk to, people we hang out with, some videos that we watch, like, it's not always necessarily healing. Like, some things can be kind of destructive rather than constructive. The idea here is that you're opening these doors and these channels. You're making new agreements. The healing energy is coming through in that way. And then we use the cards to help support and validate. The thing that I love most about cards, and I've been doing intuitive healing work for over 20 years, I don't need to use cards, although I've been using cards, tarot cards, oracle cards, things like that, since I was a child. I think I got my first deck when I was like 12 or 13 years old. Is that I love the images. I think the visualization really creates an image in the mind that we can connect with. The words are one thing, right? We connect with words, and it depends on the type of learner that you are. How do you learn? Are you more visual? Are you more tactile? Are you more audio? Are you more linguistic, that you need to be writing it down? So it depends on the type of learner you are. But for me personally, images really stick. I have clairvoyancy, clairaudience, clairsentience. I'm very empathetic. And I kind of have the gift of vision and prophecy at times. Not that I'm like a prophet, but sometimes I will see things or dream things, and then they happen. And it feels almost like a deja vu, but I dreamt it. So anyways, here we're going to go into, and this card just came flying out. So we have here the temple path. Now, I do read the cards intuitively, and the first thing that I'm seeing that really sticks out to me is the number 3. So we have 12 here, but 1 plus 2 is 3. And the reason why I say 3 is because I'm noticing more than anything these 3 bulbs here. These like orbs or whatever's floating around here, right? The next thing that I notice in this image is going to be the swirling here right at the beginning of the pathway. So when I'm looking at this card, I'm seeing the swirling energy. I'm seeing the 3 orbs. Like, it's almost like there's 3 things that are pulling me into this temple. But there's some spiraling energy here. So what I'm getting with that is there is like a breaking of a cycle. There's something that you're learning. Now let me explain something to you guys as well, because sometimes we feel like we're going round and round in circles and we're repeating the same things over and over again, okay? But I want you to understand that a circle is different than a spiral, and we're constantly spiraling out. So even though you may feel like you're going round and round in circles, you're actually learning and you're growing and you're spiraling out. And so this spiral is an indication to me that you're growing, you're shifting, you're expanding out. And this expansion is taking place before the challenge, before the climb into a new ascension. But there are three things in particular that are pulling you into this new way of being. Okay? So, this new way of being, this could be you have 3 children. This could be your partner and 2 children. This could be your career and 2 pets. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It could be like, well, I have this path, this is something that I've always been doing. It's not quite working out for me. And then here's these other 2 opportunities. It could be 3 people. It could be, you know what I mean? But the number 3 is coming through very strongly. And the number 3 is also, I want you to think of like a tripod. And I want you to think about the vibration of support that comes in with that and the collaborative energy that must take place in order for that energy of 3 to happen. Okay? It's also a number of ascension. The ascended masters are normally the number 33. If we have 3 here and 3 here, it's actually 33. And so the temple path is one in which you are reaching and working towards enlightenment. And it's also one that sometimes it is a path that we journey on within ourselves to reach a group, to reach a community, to reach a family. So I'm getting that energy of like you're saying what you need to say, you're listening, you're understanding the cycles, you're prioritizing yourself in such a way that you're ready to take this challenge in order to experience either these 3 opportunities, these people, this energetic that's coming in with the temple path. This has been your reading. It's a beautiful message, and I am excited to see what happens for you on your journey. If this resonates with you, please comment below. Share your story if you'd like. Click the like button. If you want to be notified for other readings, click the notification bell. And I hope to see you guys in the next reading. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Many, many blessings, and see you in the next one.